One of the most important phrases in my life is protecting the downside, and it should be one of the most important phrases in any business person's life. So, okay, we made a big bold move from going from music company into airline business, but I set myself a condition that I could hand that plane back at the end of the first 12 months if people didn't like our business. And so one of the most important negotiations with Boeing, we have the right to give you that plane back after 12 months. And that meant that I knew that, I could put my toe in the water, I could see whether people liked the airline, but if it didn't work out, it wasn't going to bring everything else crashing down. I'd be able to look my record company bosses in the eye and we'll still be friends because they'd still have jobs. So protecting the downside is critical, and we'll make bold moves, but we'll also make sure we've got ways out if things go wrong.
To do everything you can to survive and not to give up. As long as you try everything you can, then if you fail, you'll sleep okay, and you'll pick yourself up, and you'll learn. When things are better, you'll learn from your mistakes and you'll start again. If on the other hand you give up too readily, you'll forever kick yourself. Because I'm afraid there's going to be a lot of people who will fail. I think the other important thing is just not to take failure too seriously. I mean, it's something that happens to something like 80% of all small business people fail, either go into Chapter 11 or actually go bankrupt. And that's a lot of people. And some people take that really badly. And, it's the important thing just to learn from it and come back and start again. An awful lot of, really big, multi-millionaires and billionaires who've been through 2 or 3 bankrupt companies in their lives and have come back stronger. It's what limited companies were designed for by governments. It was to say to people, try things, and if you fail, it shouldn't affect you personally. People know the risk they're having in dealing with you, and don't be embarrassed about your failure. As long as you've tried everything you can to avoid it, don't take it too personally.
There's a very thin dividing line between survival and not surviving, and most people who start in business end up the wrong side of that dividing line, because the bigger businesses out there will try to crush small upstarts. And we had no different from anybody else when we set up our airline. Set up a unit behind closed doors, and that unit was set up to crush Virgin Atlantic. And they had people illegally accessing our computer information, but they then had a team of people ringing up our passengers pretending to be from Virgin Atlantic, suggesting that Virgin Atlantic was cancelled that day, and maybe, at British Airways, we could maybe move you over to British Airways. They had people going through my rubbish bins. They had people, the lengths they went were extraordinary. Any small business going up against bigger businesses are likely to come up with ferocious competition. So to beat a big business, use the strengths of being small. Generally speaking, if you work for a big corporation, it's quite impersonal, and quite often the staff are not looked after well, and quite often the staff actually don't like going to work because they're not treated well. In a smaller company, you can make sure that your staff are looked after well. You can make sure your staff are proud of what they're doing. You can make sure that that they believe in what they're doing, and they work long hours to try to make the company a success. As a small company, you can be more nimble. You can move more quickly. Virgin Atlantic, for instance, if we want to change all our seats in our plane to better seats, we can do so in maybe 9 months. For British Airways, it will take them 7 years. So it is possible, lower, so you can actually undercut the bigger guy, and most likely the bigger guys had years of building up overheads that you as a small company haven't yet got, and hopefully never will have. So it is possible for smaller companies to beat bigger companies, but you have to be quick of foot and, as you say, never take no for an answer.